Some problems just can't be solved. And this simple strategy, I think, will help. And it makes sense that we focus so much on problems. I spoke about this in a separate video earlier around we have this desire to solve problems oftentimes as leaders. We want to solve problems. We see problems all around us and we respond or react to those problems. But we also established that you can solve all the problems but still not be any closer to your goal, to your vision. Let me introduce myself really quick. My name is Zach. I'm a performance and leadership coach. I work with a lot of entrepreneurial leaders who desire to build a business, a side hustle, build teams, build a career that has impact, that serves them and also serves those around them. And I help those leaders get more of what they want in their businesses and their teams and their lives. And so today we're talking about how some problems just can't be solved. And it makes sense, though, that we have this focus on problems. They're all around us. And if you manage a team or work in a business, they happen on a daily basis. And it's so easy to feel like you have to do something with the problems and you have to respond or react to them. And I want to just point something out is not all problems can be solved. And in fact, if you ever find yourself asking questions like, why does this keep happening? Maybe how do I get him or her to stop doing that or to do it better? Why can't I just stay motivated? Maybe that's the challenge is, I don't always feel like working. And what do I do with that? Maybe it's why can't I have more time for myself? Maybe there's this overall feeling of busyness. Maybe you're just constantly asking yourself, when will it happen? When will I get to the next level? When will my business grow to that next level? And I think these are the problems that really can't be solved directly. And I want to share with you a quote, something that a German psychologist by the name of Carl Jung said. He basically is like one of the fathers of modern day psychology. He's a very deep thinker and very wise individual, and has really laid a lot of the foundational groundwork for a lot of the psychology movement and positive psychology, high-performance psychology that we have in today's world. And he says that all the greatest and most important problems of life are fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. This outgrowth proved on further in his investigations to require a new level of consciousness. Some higher or wider interest appeared on the patient's horizon. And this is Carl Jung speaking here. He's saying that when the patients were to grow to new levels of consciousness, there was this higher and wider interest that appeared on the patient's horizon. So I interpret that to mean they got a bigger vision. They saw a bigger picture. And through this broadening of his or her outlook, this unsolvable problem lost its urgency. It was not solved logically in its own terms, but faded when confronted with new and stronger life urges. And I think that is an important lesson here is there are problems that can't be solved, but they can be outgrown. And when we are able to really understand why things are the way they are, that level of awareness puts us more at choice for how do we want to change those things. What choices do we want to make differently? Who do we want to be differently to change the outcome? And if there was one powerful thing that I do with clients in coaching is we work on that. We work on that very fundamental question of why are things the way they are? Because we are all contributing to the very things we say we don't want. We just are. We always have some sort of contribution in whatever is happening. And it isn't until we take 100% ownership of that and grow that things begin to change. And so when I'm working with clients, oftentimes the very fundamental question we ask is, why are things the way they are? But then we bookend that with, what do you want to create? What's the result you desire to create most? And when you can get clarity on both ends of the spectrum here, getting very deeply in tune with why are things the way they are? What is it about me that continues to respond to situations in this way? And if I could change some of maybe the beliefs and interpretations and assumptions that I have about those situations, all of a sudden I find out that I can show up differently. I can show up more powerfully, more confidently, and I can be a more powerful leader. And when that starts to happen, paired up with a very clear, inspiring vision of what it is that the leader desires to create, they all of a sudden can get immense traction towards creating it. There's this tension created between where they are and ultimately where they want to be, and they move into it. And that is what I'm here to tell you today, is when we solve problems, that may or may not get us what we ultimately want. And oftentimes there's so many problems that we're trying to solve logically that really can't be solved at all, but can only be outgrown. And so we have to get really honest with, how am I contributing to this thing that I say that I don't want? What is it about me that's causing this to continue to happen? And the fundamental question we then need to answer is, well, who would I have to be? Who do I want to be, is better said. Who do I desire to be in this moment? As a leader, who do I desire to be as a leader? Because I want you to remember that we don't do leadership, but we are leaders. Leadership has everything to do with who you are in your being, and it isn't about what you do. So take off the leadership hat, stop trying to solve problems, and start looking inwardly about who do you desire to be to create those results that you deeply desire to create. So I hope you enjoyed this. I would love to hear from you. Click below, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on LinkedIn, I would love to chat with you. So just drop me a note, drop me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.